Save your time, save your money. Welcome to Rotten Real Roll. I'm Sinman. This man's name is Kanti, and he is a devout Hindu. One day, he was informed that his son, Vivek, whom he diligently enrolled in the local international school, had been admitted to the hospital. From the doctor and his son's friends, he learned that his adolescent son was experiencing bullying at school, had started to question the size of his genitals. In an attempt to address this issue, Vivek believed a group of pseudo-experts and consumed a large amount of Viagra, trying to grow up through masturbation, only to fall victim to a classmate's scheme, resulting in an inappropriate video being recorded. As the video went viral online, Vivek, after being expelled from school, almost attempted suicide, plunging Kanti's family life into turmoil. Due to his assistance to Kanti, Lord Shiva manifested an incarnation, and encouraged by the latter, Kanti decided to sue Vivek's school, demanding mandatory sex education in the school to prevent children from going astray. He faced the sniper fire of Kamini, a highly talented female lawyer defending the school. This is the main storyline of the newly released Indian film Oh My God 2 that we're discussing today. Before we start, please like, share, and follow our channel if you enjoy this content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell for updates. Thank you. Oh My God 2 is the sequel to the hugely popular 2012 film Oh My God. If you haven't seen the prequel, I strongly recommend watching it. It's truly a remarkable film. As the second installment in the series, Oh My God 2 essentially maintains the primary storyline of its predecessor. An ordinary person encounters difficulties for various reasons, with the deity incarnating as a mentor to guide them. The main difference between the two films lies in their themes. Oh My God 1 delved into the essence of religion, where an atheist, due to being punished by God, sues fraudulent religious leaders in court. The protagonist is a mix of St. Peter and Martin Luther, transitioning from complete disbelief in God to almost parabolically reenacting an Indian version of religious reformation. In the second installment, the male lead becomes a devout Hindu. This time, he questions, not God but the absence of sex education in the Indian education system, which, in turn, broadens the topic. Why is Indian society so conservative about sexual matters? Compared to the prequel, Oh My God 2 maintains a high standard in production, but isn't as skillfully designed in the plot, particularly the twist in the ending, as the first part. Nevertheless, it remains the best sequel I've seen in 2023, including highly acclaimed sequels like Avatar 2 and Mission Impossible 7. While Oh My God 2 may not match the budget and star-studded cast of the mentioned films, the director's attainment in expressing ideas far exceeds those of Hollywood counterparts. The 7.7 rating on IMDb, in my opinion, is well-deserved. Riding the wave of global equality movements in recent years, Bollywood has consistently challenged India's conservative traditional ideologies on different issues. The education system, caste system, women's rights, homosexuality, sexual crimes, and more. These issues have become materials for directors, significantly reshaping Indian society and people's perceptions. Compared to many other similar works, the greatest feature of the Oh My God series is its discussion of topics based on religion. Specifically, it nourishes itself by reinterpreting religious classics and doctrines to address new equality issues. For instance, when the female lawyer Kamini repeatedly condemns Vivek's behavior as immoral, vulgar, and disgusting sins, Kanti presents ancient classics such as the Kama Sutra, Charak Samhita, and Ayurveda, arguing that sex is not a sin but one of the four pillars of Sanatana Dharma. When the opponent challenges the propriety of sex education, Kanti brings out the Panchatantra, proving that India had sex education 2,200 years ago. This is a classic case of using one's spear to attack one's shield. Since conservatives always emphasize defending the traditional moral standards, I'll search for theoretical bases in traditional classics to prove your mistake. The brilliance of this strategy lies in its ability to cleverly avoid direct propagation of egalitarian concepts in a country like India, burdened with nationalist sentiments. The direct transmission of egalitarian concepts often elicits resistance, being perceived as Western or British and subsequently triggers anti-colonial sentiments. Resorting to local traditional classics skillfully circumvents this issue. Another significant advantage of this film is how the director adeptly sidesteps the superficiality often found in most egalitarianism films through subtle narrative and character design. Most Hollywood egalitarian films tend to package a simplistic proposition using plot and character settings. For instance, emphasizing egalitarianism for Black people or LGBTQ communities portrays them as the righteous side while casting white males as antagonists. Similarly, stressing the rights of women and minority ethnicities involves Black female actors playing heroes, rescuing foolish and inept white male characters. The repetitively simplistic black or white approach often tends to evoke audience aversion and aesthetic fatigue. In contrast, this film opts for a different approach. Firstly, in a film addressing sexual education, the director disrupts convention by portraying a troubled boy rather than a girl. This subtly informs the audience that victims of traditional sexual suppression are not exclusively female but also include males. This effectively refutes extreme feminist thought that males are the original sin. Secondly, the director intelligently portrays a middle-class father as the initiator of the egalitarian action, while the lawyer, representing conservative forces, is a female. This setting, to some extent, reflects history. For instance, it was the white elites represented by Lincoln who were determined to abolish slavery, and it's surprising to find a considerable number of slaves helping the Southern Army resist Northern aggression. Similar stories unfold in China and Iran, the proponents of freedom, democracy, and workers' rights, who oppose dictatorship, largely consist of educated elites such as entrepreneurs and university professors, labeled as the established interest group. Conversely, the staunchest defenders of the existing system are often found among the least educated nationalists in society, who should ideally be the greatest beneficiaries of change. This effectively avoids one of the most unpleasant aspects of egalitarian movements: identity politics, where identity tags themselves cannot categorize good or evil, right or wrong. It's always about ideas and behavior that differentiate individuals. Traditional leftist films usually select a specific group, such as capitalists, males, or white colonizers, as targets for critique, completing emotional vending by the weak seeking vengeance. While this approach is beneficial in appealing to public sentiment and consensus building, it can lead to social divisions and conflicts. In comparison, this film highlights societal issues without simplistically attributing responsibility to a particular individual or group but rather to certain ideologies. This approach is undoubtedly far more intelligent. After watching this film, I pondered a question for a long time. Why is India, which gave birth to the Kama Sutra thousands of years ago, one of the most conservative countries in the world regarding sexuality today? When and how did this change occur? Towards the end, the film, through the male lead, provides a nationalist explanation. India was regionally advanced and open-minded, but British colonizers, for their own rule, implemented ignorant education. While this explanation might boost Indian audiences' national confidence and potentially mobilize the nationalist sentiments of those around the film, it is likely not factual. The reason is simple. The same did not occur in similarly colonized lands like the United States, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. Even in regions where the native population had absolute superiority, such as Hong Kong, Cyprus, Malta, and South Africa, there was no trend of transitioning from regionally open societal attitudes to conservative ones. On the contrary, the views on sex among Hong Kong citizens today are far more liberal than they were 200 years ago. Of course, these issues are quite complex, and due to time limitations, I will not delve deeper here. For interested viewers, feel free to interact with me in the comments section and share your thoughts. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share our video. And don't forget to ring the bell for updates, so that YouTube's algorithm can better recommend our channel. See ya!